All right, guys, thanks for joining us today on the True Talk podcast, Family First Life. Zach Twardowski here with my buddy ZHart. Thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for tuning in from Dallas today, right?
Yeah, man. No, super excited. Blessed to be on, man. Definitely blessings all around, but grateful for sure.
Well, dude, this is unique because typically we do this. Sean, Mark Mead, myself do the True Talks every week, and it's usually one of us just going on and kind of talking, or we bring on our guest as someone who is with Family First Life. But we've been talking and kind of going back and forth, and you've been consulting for some of the guys we work with, and I was like, what a unique opportunity we have to have you on here and kind of give some perspective from a third party view, of kind of what we've been able to do with Family First Life the last 9 years. What you've seen and what you know from the industry. For those of you who don't know you, and I think a lot of people, know who you are at this point, but you've been in the industry 22 years. You've, recruited and mentored probably hundreds of thousands of agents at this point, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, without a shadow of a doubt. In fact, we're probably being very conservative on numbers, but conservative is good.
Yeah, very conservative on those numbers. And you've had a tremendous amount of success in the industry. So I'd love for you to share, and we can kind of go back and forth on some things, but I'd love for you to share, what you've seen with some of the groups, again, you're consulting for, and, what really stands out about the opportunity Family First Life has from, perspective for people who don't work here and don't know, about it from what you've learned about it. And then, so the agents that are here, like myself, I started here. So I never knew until I started meeting other people that didn't work with us, how unique and awesome our opportunity was. And I was spoiled by that. So I'd love for some of the people who are like here kind of playing around with recruiting to understand like really what they have their hands on and how heavily they should take advantage of that.
I mean, it's I don't know how long this podcast typically goes or how long the show goes, but I'm not kidding around. If we want to talk about all the goods, there's probably not enough time in the day from what I've seen. And you have to understand, coming from a guy that has developed significant relationships with not just one company, but hundreds of different companies and have a lot of significant, pull as far as the industry and the financial services industry. It's what I know now is absolutely out of this world for the flow and what you do and how you can actually operate on so many different platforms with integrity as a whole, but also with FFL leading that brand is unbelievable. I mean, I'll tell you first and foremost, spent 22 years in the industry. And the first thing people think about is, man, he looks young. Well, yeah, I mean, that's part of the deal, right? Good looks get you so far in life, but you got to know something after that. But at the end of the day, 22 years, and this is complete respect. People in the industry are typically taught that especially over almost the last 10 years, that FFL is the enemy, and they can think about it how they want to do it. And there's a lot of bodies that transition from wherever they're at, being captive or being non-captive, to the FFL brand. And the analogy is, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And I need to make it crystal clear to a lot of bodies throughout the world that it's not a matter if you can't beat them, join them. It's a matter of just opening their eyes up to the truth. The different things and the different opportunities that you all have generated and developed for not just the agents, but the builders and the leaders and the partners is absolutely astronomical. When you have a representative, and that's on a significant increase as far as comp grids or comp contracts, when they have the opportunity to make money in 5, 6, 7 different ways in a single sit, and I'm not just talking with life insurance, I'm not just talking with annuities, it blows my mind to realize what else is out there. And I think that if you did a better job as far as educating the world on what FFL has to offer, I don't know how there'd be another insurance organization out there. I truly don't. And that's super accolades to what you all have going on. And I'm blessed from the outside looking in, being able to consult these bodies. And as I start learning more, so I can better consult them for the greater good of FFL and integrity, and obviously these bodies, as I start learning more, I'm scratching my head going, what in the heck? Like, how on earth are you not this, or how on earth are you not utilizing this, or how on earth are you not doing more than the 20 or the 30,000 you're currently doing a week per person? It's almost unfair is what it is. It's like there's no kid kicked last at kickball at FFL because everybody's got the opportunity to be a captain. It's unbelievable. So I mean, the leads, the contracts, the opportunities, bonuses, the ability to just to call somebody and know that it's a life insurance lead versus a rope-a-dope or a Kansas City shuffle type of move, like a bait and switch, where you generally are just talking to people in regards to what is real opportunity. It's just, it's unbelievable. And a lot of people don't understand that. And they treat FFL as if they're the enemy when they're not. In my opinion, they're the cure, and they have been. And that's a significant education a lot of people in this world just need to learn more about.
Right. And I think for a long time you saw it that way, and there's people that, transparently I worked with you at one point. And I think for a while you're like, man, I don't like you. I don't like you guys. And then you've seen what these guys have been able to do really quickly. Right. What are a few things you would give, like, let's give for the guys here. Cause other companies out there are much better recruiting than we are. And I think part of it's like they have to make any sort of income. They have to recruit to make some money, right? And here we get a little spoiled because you can make a very significant income just by going out and just selling insurance at a high level, which is a good thing and it can be a bad thing. But everyone out there, I think you really have to look at, and one thing Sean's really talked about in the creed has been like we need to save agents and make sure we're putting them into this position that's like a lot better, like transparently much better than anywhere else they could be. So what would you say to some of the guys who are here and they're like, is this the best thing? Should I be why should they be recruiting at the level that, all these other companies recruit at? And then what are a couple of things that stand out and puts them above at a competitive advantage compared to other companies in the industry that you've worked with and seen?
Well, first off, let me kind of clarify some of the things you said. I don't necessarily think that they're doing a bad job at recruiting. I just think that they don't have to recruit because of the lack of leadership in a lot of other organizations. And I think that's super significant because the leadership that I've been blessed to kind of meet and greet, talk with, from you to obviously Sean taking tons of time out of his day to meet with me and Andrew and a lot of the great bodies that you have there, the leadership is intact. And when the leadership is right, you don't really need to reach or grab people or recruit people and definitely not take people from other companies, which is overly used, and that's not true. It's the lack of leadership and the lack of profitability and the lack of moving forward and progression at these other companies that ultimately is their downfall. You got to go to the grind and recruit people on what is empty promises or false hope is another word. But if the bodies at your organization really, really, truly just did what they did, and don't lie, don't deceive, don't steal, which none of them do, but just tell the truth of the opportunity. There's no other opportunities that are truly like it. And it's super, super significant that if they just absolutely transfer the knowledge, the truth, and the belief of what they deal with on a day-to-day basis, they'll realize that it's almost like the unbelievable. It's the unimaginable, but it's believable because I've seen it. I see it every single day, and it is imaginable because people do it, and every single person has the same opportunity. And if they just put a little bit more effort on, hey, here's what we do, here's why we do it, here's the opportunity that we have, it'd be so insane to see the movement, which happening, but the significant more movement that would happen if they just put their best foot forward. Because when it comes to recruiting mass amounts of bodies, it's the most important thing is the team development, the team camaraderie, but the ability to build your business and build your brand as large as you want to, and know that these bodies that everything about personally and professionally, these bodies that you've mentored, that you've groomed, to know that once they're with you side by side, which is the mentality I've always had as far as leadership, once they're with you, they can't go anywhere else. Nobody is going to look at them and be like, well, because you wore white today, I'm going to take your bodies and move them over here. Guess what? Because you did this, I'm a little upset with you. I'm going to put them over here. These are your bodies. They're loyal to you. You train these bodies, and you can build as many as you want, and you don't have the fear, which is ultimately not a face everything and run fear, not a face everything and rise fear, but a fear that these bodies can be pulled and plugged away from you. So to organically build is significant because the bodies will come. I look at a lot of, knowing now what I didn't know for the last 22 years, is I look at, FFL almost like the movie Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. So right now, people are coming and people are coming and people are coming. But realistically, if they just pushed a little bit further, everybody would come. They say in order to get to everyone, you got to start with one. Well, you have tons of ones that just need to start this process and tell the truth, and the bodies will naturally come. And then the endless possibilities based on, the compensation that you have, the contracts that you have, the ability to move up. I'm going to preach on this for a minute, not but the ability to move up based on your merit, based on your ability, based on what you've done versus who you know, is absolutely the most honorable and noble thing that I've seen in the industry. To know that not anybody or not one man or one woman is going to hold you back, but based on your merit, this promotion and hierarchy sheet that you have, that carrot where it's always at, is super, super, super important. If you're on a 110 and you want to get to a 140, here's what you got to do. You want to get to a 145, here's what you have to do. That's insane. That's insane. You don't got to rub shoulders and touch butts and give high fives to get that promotion. I love it. I mean, you guys have a great thing going on here, and I'm blessed to be part of it. And the only other way that they'll figure it out is if they don't push the envelope and do what's right, they can go get exposed to the other side or to that side or to this side. And the grass is never greener. The grass is always greener where you water. And if they make this their home, they're gonna be able to build the foundation and build that empire as big as they want to.
Yeah, and offline, a few things we've talked about too is, and like you said, if everyone did a better job of really promoting what you guys do and sharing everything, you're like, I don't know why everyone in the industry doesn't work there, and I think that's the way I feel too. And I again, like when you start here, it's you don't know anything else, but when you start hearing about the other things that go on, like you mentioned, like the fact that everyone in your hierarchy stays in your hierarchy, and even if they get to the same comp as you, the bonus makes up for that. Like that's not something you've seen in the industry anywhere else, is it? Because you've had guys that have gotten to the same level as you, and then you get nothing for it, right? In all transparency.
No, and yeah, that's it. So to always have that where you're still getting, the bonuses on top of that, because normally normal people in the insurance industry, it's you never want the guy or gal that you trained you to ever be better than you, and you never want them to promote them fast enough to the point that you're ever losing money. Where the way that you all have it structured is, listen, if you want to get here, I'm going to push you, I'm going to guide you, I'm going to mentor you, I'm going to lead you, and I'm going to enable you to be the best you can be. Now, during that process, in order to be the best person they can be, they got to be somebody that they've never been, but you give them the tools to be that man or that woman that they've never been. And once they hit what is maybe their pinnacle, because everybody's got different lids, you're not concerned, or you're not upset, or you're not holding them back, because you're always getting compensated in some way or some form for your ability, because you just brought that man or that woman in and showed them the light. It's oh man, it's unbelievable. Too many times, especially in 22 years. I've promoted tons and tons of people. I'm grateful for the time, but if you think that it doesn't run through my mind that if I would have continued to get 1 or 2 or 3% or 4% or 5% on these bodies, that they couldn't even grow their business faster, because I would have never stopped helping them. Not that I ever did, but there's a difference between helping them daily versus helping them when they call once a month. You know what I mean? So to constantly always have that ability to keep spinning those plates is an unfair advantage. And the people that don't know it, oh man, you need to figure it out. They need to figure it out quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing we talked about that you've harped on a lot, and you're like, this is different than the industry. Like, it's not normal, is the fact that we have no contract. So you own your own business. That's not normal. And then the fact that we have this amazing partnership with Integrity, and what that's allowed a lot of people to do. I think we're at Rob Richmond's just announced his deal last week. We've had a ton of 20 plus partners. I don't know the exact number at this point, but we've had a ton of partners, ton of people that have built their business and done a partnership with Integrity. And that's not normal in the industry wide, right? You're like, I've not seen that many partners from a group, and I've not seen, the ability to not have a contract and be able to have a saleable business. So if you can speak to that for everyone, how unique that situation is. And even if you don't sell it, even having a business that you actually own and that no one else has contractual, oversight on, that you actually own your own business, how unique is that, whether you want to sell your business or not?
There's nothing like it. And they're heard about it, but it's almost like that unicorn, right? So when other companies, and even when my other firm, when I would hear about things about this partnership and this buy and different things, that because of what I've built and what I've established, and I work, which is growth, which is development, which is truly leadership, and a brand that's built for leadership. But those bodies that don't know about the partnership opportunity is that to me, that if you are a builder, if you're a mover, if you're a current owner, if you're a current shaker, if you're a motivator, inspire, or if you feel that you have any ability to build a brand or build in general, you need to know about the partnership opportunities, because to put you in a that after 12 months or 24 months or 36 months, you can retire literally as if you won the Powerball based on your work and your attitude and your effort is out of this world. I mean, out of this world. And a lot of companies don't know about it because they're scared to know the truth about it. So they just say it doesn't exist. It does exist. And it's black and white. And everybody has that opportunity. It's not a matter of, well, I know Sean, or I know Zach, or I know this person, or I know what. No, it's you do this, you do this. Here's the roadmap. And that's so crystal clear. You develop this roadmap, right? I was taught at a very young map's there. The treasure map, I should call it, there. All you have to do is man up or woman up and bring a shovel. And this is what you have to do. And it's black and white. Stupid. That's the easiest way. I mean, it's mind blown is the easiest way I can express that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one thing you mentioned before too, is you're like, this is how much, my agency was able to do and how many people we produce. You're like, I think I could have done 10, 15, 20, maybe 100 times more in the same platform you guys had, I'm curious to, hear your input on that. And then, where you see Family First Life as a company go, and a lot of the people you're working with and consulting for, how rapidly you see those agencies keep growing, and what the next couple of years looks like, you think, for Family First Life.
Well, using me as an example, knowing what I know now, which I didn't know, and the hundreds of millions of dollars that I was blessed to be mentored and blessed to generate, and blessed to change a lot of lives, right? That number easy. When I talk about I've created 8 millionaires over the last 8 years, that number probably would have been created 80 millionaires over the last 8 years. And that's not BS, that's true. when you have the ability to do what you all do and how you do it with the platform that's there, the amount of production, it would be a heck of a lot more times 10, amount of income would be times 10, because the amount of bodies that you're also, that I'm not even calculating is how many bodies could I save? How many bodies could I have retained, how generated for your organization, for the groups that are in bodies that are blessed to be there? So that number is man, I'd like to say it's like Googleplex. It's like the largest number known to man type of deal, because there's no way in the world that I could possibly give you an estimate of what I would have been able to do if I would have known then what I know now. And every day I get reminded, well, Zach, you know it now, you know it now, you know it now. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of cool things that you have going on that other organizations truly just don't, as far as the greater good and the benefit. But as far as these bodies that I'm consulting and I'm working with right now, I was working with the deal just starting not that long ago, and I think systems and processes and kind of motivating, right? Because words always get people motivating, but reassuring to create new habits to create that success. I know that the following week, after working with that group, based on utilizing the resources that are there, because that they're just blind to, because there's so many of them, right? There's just so many of them, and this may work for you and this may work for her, but there's so many avenues that they gotta find out which one works for them. But what they're on the verge of doing, their projections, which was at 116,000, a month and a half ago, right now, very conservatively, that deal alone by January 1st will be somewhere without a shadow, which to me is nothing's ever enough, right? I have that problem. My family knows that's my problem. My girlfriend knows my problem, and they know that there's no amount that's ever going to be enough when it comes to this. So when they're talking in these conservative figures that we're looking at, which is 10 times growth, in a matter of months, let alone in a matter of years, I know that operation is capable of a day, let alone in a month. And we're going to get there. But I'll tell you this much, over the last, month and a half of really kind of working side by side with these bodies, I'm going to be overseeing somewhere, consulting, I think between 10 and 14 different legs at the blessings at FFL, not to take away from, the other organizations that I'm currently dealing with, but there's no other organization. And that's what I want you to realize is these legs started with one, as far as me consulting, and now it's grown to 14, all through these bodies. All these other firms and companies that are out there, which are all great companies. There's no bad company, really, in my opinion, that's out there. I think that some of them are just misled, misguided, and there's a lot of smoking mirrors to say. But nobody has had the ability to go from one leg to 14 legs in a matter of the last 4 or 5 months that I've been working with other institutions. And it's eye-opening to me with where these bodies are going, but how excited they are about knowing how great they're going to be based on the leadership, based on the bond, based on the chemistry that you all them is ridiculous. Because it's not a matter of, well, hey, guess what? You're at FFL in California. You can't work with people that are FFL in New York. We're one, right? So people can go on and utilize all the platforms, the new training that's out there. You can just go on YouTube and see the best of the best all over the country. It's almost like a library of the greats that you've bred, that the company's bred, and the leaders that have been bred there, and to say, hey, here's my knowledge, here's my belief, here's my blueprint, right? No different than like my own son, Sebastian, who, I'll tell everyone in the world how proud I am of him, no matter what. I mean, I'm so absolutely proud of this dude. He's the best version of me, without a shadow of a doubt. And he's very similar to me. He's got a lot in common. Now, I won't ever tell him that he's doing that great of a job, obviously, but he knows I love him, I appreciate him. But what this dude has done in a month and a half, there's no company on earth that could have done that. In no BS, Zach, 4 months ago, when he was looking at getting into insurance, and 3 months ago, when he was really looking at getting into, there was companies that said no to him. There's companies that I knew that I was affiliated at that said no to him because of the fact that he was going to school, or because he was 20 years old. And he took that mindset, not as playing with the chip on his shoulder, that I'm going to do more than everybody else. He took that mindset as, screw you. I'm going to do what I believe in. I'm going to follow this. And he was introduced to you guys, not from me. And he was introduced to you guys. And all he did was take the ability to learn from hundreds of people he's never met, and that he's still never met, because of the education and the platforms that you make available to every single person. Success is up to them, and how big they want to grow is completely up to them. I just know him, for example, let alone the bodies I'm consulting, are not taking it for granted, and they're utilizing every single thing that you have to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's been a great example of, he's like, man, you've helped me so much. I'm like, Sebastian, we've talked a couple times and you've learned everything on you. I didn't do anything. You went out there and did all the work. I told you where to get leads and where to find YouTube videos. That was it. So you can't attribute your success to anything I've done. You did it all on your own.
Right.
If you were a new agent, and obviously you're not working here, you're consulting for us, and I'm going to keep trying to recruit you till the day I die, I think, and eventually maybe it'll work or not, but we'll find out. But if you were a new agent
Yeah.
starting with us right now, and you had a couple agents working with you, and you were just in, like, what would your daily activities look like? Just for some standards people to set. How many people would you recruit a day? What would you look for app count per day? Like those kind of things that you think are attainable here that are, let's go conservative, but what would you do? What would your daily activities look like to get to where you want to get to as a new person?
Well, as a new person, I'm going to put myself as an unfair advantage because I always wanted big, right? Big thinkers have big solutions. Small thinkers have big, what problems. And at the end of the day, I was always a big thinker. So those bodies that really, first off, the first thing that people need to realize when they come here is the opportunity. How do you realize the opportunity is you look why the reason you joined, right? The reason that everybody joins a company, especially one of this magnitude like FFL, is because whatever they were doing didn't work. So once they know that, because that always exists, the ability to go back to whatever they were doing, which didn't work, it'll always be there. So when they come here, the first thing they have to put in their mindset is they have to start to be somebody that they've never been. Because you can't go from making 30 grand a year to make 300 grand a year with the same mindset, the same attitude, and the same effort, most importantly. So knowing now what I know then, and for everybody that's listening, for everybody that tunes into this, if I was a brand new agent, a brand new body, the first thing I would do is I would put my personal life on hold to master my craft my way for the first 90 days. Yes, tell your girlfriend that we can go on a date later. Yes, tell your friends tonight, not the night. You have to have time management in your hands. And I'm not a fan of time management because I'm a fan of the word consequences. And this is a 90-day commitment. I heard somebody say the other day, in fact, it's near and dear to my heart, which is also my son, says you earn the right to have a balanced life. But if I was a brand new body, I would be doing RG activities every single day of the week. There's 7 days, there's 7 ways to make money. That's the way I look at it. So from Mondays being typically, which is a call session, I would be nonstop on the phones. Typically Sunday night, I would be booking appointments Sunday night because everyone's home Sunday night. And then I'd roll that right into Monday. And then I would go hardcore Tuesday, Wednesday, as far as field. Thursday, I'd be booking for Friday, Saturday. But the one thing that never stops is you should be recruiting everyone, everywhere, 24/7. That should never, ever stop. You make a hell of a lot more money building on bodies than you'll always do on your own pet. That's just the way it works. And here's the cool thing. A lot of people, Zach, are scared to get leadership. A lot of people are scared to be builders. It doesn't matter what company, but especially even at FL, they're scared to get into becoming a builder because, well, I've never been in leadership, or I've never done this, or maybe they're intimidated. And what they need to realize is they're never in it alone. They're never, ever in it alone. No different than being a father or mother, right? And again, congratulations, you're going to be, a father here in a little bit. I'm excited for it, right? But at the end of it, nobody's ever prepared for it. No book is going to show you how to be a great dad. No book's going to show you how to be a great mom because every kid is different in their own way. And it's no different than here. The difference is when you're a new father, you're going to call your dad. You're going to call your mom. You're going to call you whomever, your sister, your brother, your niece, your nephew, that can guide you like, oh my God, Billy did this, or Susie did this, or like my son, Espen, he's named after ESPN last highlight, right? My little human highlight. He's going to do this. It doesn't matter. Every kid is different. You're going to reach out to those bodies. Or what you have here is unfair because you have hundreds of thousands of people in your corner, from your family to your friends, but ultimately the people that work at this company that are there to help you, to guide you, to lead you, to teach you because of the significant levels of compensation. And that's what people don't understand. It's not like if you're on a 60% and you got a 70% and 80%, you have 10, 12, 15 bodies that are going to guide you, that are going to lead you, that are going to mentor you, that literally have worn the t-shirt and worn it out. So if I was a brand new body, be the hardest worker in every room, be the hardest worker in every single state, and test it. What's the worst that could happen if you just went absolutely crazy with work effort all day, every day for 90 days? What's the worst that could happen? Your life drastically changes. What won't happen is you'll ever make less than what you were doing, which is the reason you came over here to begin with, right? But I would be doing every single morning. And if I'm not in the field, like when I first started years and years ago, doing what I was doing, I was calling basically names and phone numbers. I was just calling resumes when I was in the field. And I know you can probably relate to as one of, as the youngest integrity partner, the guy that's built a significant enterprise, is that it's that treasure map. It's like, if you're not doing anything, do something. So they should be making tons and tons of calls, whether it's resume, social media is a huge outlet. Obviously, message your family, message your friends, message the world. Let them know what opportunity is. Let them know what really, really exists. And let them know, not because you've seen it happen because of other people, let them know because you're doing it. And they have the ability to be the best there is. And that's it. So they should be doing every single day. If they're not reaching, calling, guiding, leading, and excited about opportunity to bring other people in, they're missing the boat. I'm just scared that people are scared to bring people in because of the fact that they always have this mindset of, well, I want to be successful first. I want to be successful before I bring them in. Like, that's the wrong way to think about it. What if you're not successful at this, but you brought in 3 people and you changed their lives? they will be forever grateful. They'll always remember who that man or who that woman is that brought them in. And you just had the ability to change a life and change lives to come because the opportunity was right for them. So everybody, everywhere, 24/7 is the best advice I can give everyone, especially if they have that vision of doing things and have things and they want those things. Not everybody has it, but those that possess it need to go to work finding it.
Well, hey, dude, I think that's a great place to wrap up because we could do this for 3 hours, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time and I don't want to mess anything up. So let's end with that. I appreciate you getting on with us, man, and looking forward to to see where this whole thing goes and seeing where the rest of the Integrity Partners Family First Life continues to grow to. And hopefully, like I said, I keep recruiting you and get you to work with us at some point in next few years here. So we'll see what we can do. Appreciate you, Zach.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. Be good.